Hello and welcome. This is Africa in 10 minutes, where we bring to you trending business news from around the continent this week, courtesy Footprint to Africa. I'm Mike Mesikeno. It's great to have you on the show. Let's take a look at the highlights for this week. Ghana boost for agriculture sector as a $250 million machinery deal is announced. And volume of mobile money transactions exceeds billions in Ghana. Affordable housing ranked most important factor when deciding where to live and work in Nairobi, Kenya. Africa's biggest bond fund, Alan Gray, gains from local debt. Saudi Arabia makes $1 billion bid for partnership with South Africa's Denel. And now the news. The government of Ghana has announced an agricultural mechanization facility worth $250 million from 3 foreign partners to improve mechanized agriculture. The equipment secured from India, Czech Republic and Brazil are to help the government implement its flagship Planting for Food and Jobs program. Food and Agriculture Minister Dr. Owusu Aferiye-Okoto revealed this when he formally launched a multi-purpose agro-processing factory under the One Distribution, One Factory initiative at Jasikan in the Volta region. Dr. Owusu Aferiye-Okoto explained that the machineries will range from basic handheld tools for smallholder farmers to big tractors for large-scale farming. He, however, pointed out that a larger part of the consignment, which is expected to arrive early next year, will be basic affordable tools which will be within the reach of the average farmer. The volume of mobile money transactions conducted in Ghana in the first 9 months of this year has surpassed 1 billion, a 50% increase in the figure recorded in the same period last year. According to data from the Bank of Ghana, the volume of transactions stood at 1,027,794,484, the first time a billion transactions have been recorded in one calendar year. The value of transactions means the total amount of money sent using mobile money stood at 160 billion Ghanaian cedis as of September 2018. When compared to the same period last year, the value of mobile money transactions went up by 46.54%, underscoring the popularity of mobile money as an important avenue to engineer financial inclusion in undeserved areas. The data also revealed that the total number of registered mobile money accounts in the period under review was in excess of 31.4 million, out of which the active accounts, which is defined as having undertaken at least one transaction in the past 90 days, stood at 12.5 million. Affordable housing is the most important factor when deciding where to live and work for employees living in Nairobi, Kenya, a factor that real estate industry players will be wise to consider. This is according to Mesa, a global consulting leader in advancing health, wealth and career, and a wholly owned subsidiary of Marsh and McLennan Companies Incorporated. Mesa said this week they had announced the results of an extensive study that examines the needs of workers in the world's fastest growing cities across 4 key factors: human, health, money and work. Based on the survey, affordable housing was ranked the most important factor, followed by safety and security, air and water quality, transportation and traffic, and finally, life satisfaction. With this in mind, government and large businesses have a role to play in making cities more attractive in meeting the top needs of employees, said Mesa Africa Associate Francis Omanyala. Alan Gray's Africa Bond Fund, Africa's biggest bond fund based in Cape Town, managed to protect itself against the sell-off buffeting emerging markets largely by buying local debt in Nigeria, Egypt and Ghana. The strategy helped the fund outperform its peers in 2018. The $430 million Africa Bond Fund, which excludes South Africa, focuses on investments solely on the continent. The bond fund returned 2.8% throughout the first 3 quarters of 2018. The fund is benchmarked against JP Morgan's government bond index, which recorded a loss of 8.2%. Thinking that yields had fallen too low given the buildup of external debt by governments, Alan Gray began the year by cutting its exposure to African sovereign Euro bonds. It focused on local currency bonds, particularly those in Egypt, Nigeria, and Ghana, where it could get yields of above 15%. The bonds, denominated in Nairas, cedis, and Egyptian pounds, accounted for 43% of the portfolio at the end of September 2018. A source familiar with the matter told Reuters that Saudi Arabia has made a $1 billion bid for a broad partnership with a South African state-owned defense group, Denel. The partnership would include acquisition of a minority stake in a joint venture with Germany's Rheinmetall. Saudi Arabia, which is the world's third largest defense spender, is seeking partnerships to develop its own domestic defense industry with the goal of localizing half of its military spending by 2030. The kingdom's state defense company, Saudi Arabia Military Industries, said it was in discussions with all major South African firms and aimed to conclude the first deals by the end of 2018. The anonymous source revealed Saudi Arabia was targeting Denel's 49% stake in Rheinmetall Denel Munition. Symbol Mining, an Australian company, is developing an open-pit mine for exploration of lead-zinc deposits in Bauchi and Nasarawa states, situated in the northern part of Nigeria. Abubakar Buhari, Nigeria's Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, who disclosed the development at Nigeria-Canada Investment Summit in Abuja, said various opportunities exist in both the down and upstream sectors, adding that these are now ready for exploitation. He said Nigeria is still a greenfield with a variety of mineral types and titles and some of the highest grades anywhere in the world. On that note, we draw the curtains on this week's episode of Africa in 10 minutes. Let's take a recap of the stories. Ghana boosts for agriculture sector as a $250 million machinery deal is announced. And volume of mobile money transactions exceeds billions in Ghana. Affordable housing ranked most important factor when deciding where to live and work in Nairobi, Kenya. Africa's biggest bond fund, Alan Gray, gains from local debt. Saudi Arabia makes $1 billion bid for partnership with South Africa's Denel. You can send in questions, make comments, and keep up with the news on our various social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, connect with us on LinkedIn, and follow us on Twitter. Visit www.footprint2Africa, where these stories were called from. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa, by Africans, for Africa.